Well, we are back again. We are finally back because it's been a couple of weeks, I believe, since we done since anything has been done on this channel. So I'm coming back, with another one of these. I've got a few things coming up, so there is that. We have got something going on because it's still been. I mean, how long has it been now since the last video I've done? I'm honestly ashamed to even look. But it's been a while, so I thought we better, start these streams back up for since it's the old Christmas, so there's things to talk about. But the past couple of weeks, it was pretty dead. And plus, I haven't been lazing about. I've been working away on my Marvels video, and that's hopefully that's coming out this week. But we'll probably talk about that a bit later, just sort of what I've been doing with it. But there's definitely a reason they call it the editing dungeon, because that's what it's like. It's just a very long process, and I'll be glad to sort of get that out on the on that new channel that I've got. I'm hoping that all this time I've spent on it, it's gonna actually pay off. I don't want to all these hours I've spent on it. I don't want to put it out and it's like 100 views. So I'm hoping that's not the case. Because it would be quite nice to get the other channel up and running, getting the subs up and all that type of stuff. But we shall see. As far as this channel's concerned, I honestly, I don't know what I'm doing at the moment. I want to start putting out more videos on this channel. I don't know what it is. It's just, when I started YouTube, it was talking about a specific thing, and then I just happened to fall into, well, I quite like talking about, writing mainly, things like that. So that's been like the main thing that's just got, I haven't really had as much motivation to, just talk about, I like doing it in this format where I can just sit here and talk. But I haven't had enough motivation to just like record a video on, this new change is coming, that type of stuff. But I'm hoping that changes at some point. But we shall see. But yeah, we got a few streams coming up. So even if there's no videos for the next, I really can't say. For the next while, we've got a few streams to do. Because we've of course got Rebel Moon. That's on the way. It's coming out Thursday on Netflix. So that's gonna be something to talk about anyway. I'll be doing one of the primal breakdowns on that. I'm not sure what day I'm gonna. It'll either be Saturday or Sunday, and we'll sort of break down the entire film. So there is that. That's kind of the thing that's coming up in December is Rebel Moon. And my expectations for Rebel Moon are very, very low considering it's Zack Snyder. It's just, if you look at his entire filmography, the majority of it's like utter shite. Mainly when he's involved in the actual writing process. If he's involved in that, you can expect a pile of shite. We've seen the Snyder Cut, Man of Steel. I'm trying to think of like all the recent ones, but I like 300, but then you have to remember with that, it's like, yeah, that was already a written story. So it's like, you didn't actually have to have as much input in that in terms of that. So, but if you look at his more recent stuff, it's like shite. You got people that are right into him. I don't quite know why, but whatever. So you could probably expect a bit of drama when if you're on fucking Twitter or anything like that. It's going to be a lot of arguments because I'm expecting this film to be fucking trash. It's just again, it's Zack Snyder, and when you kind of look at how this film has come into being, the impression I get is it's going to be a jumbled mess of ideas. Because this is the film that he supposedly pitched to Lucasfilm. That didn't work out. So then he thought, fuck it, I'll go to Netflix, I'll make my own thing. try and set up a, the next big Star Wars, which, I mean, I was very doubtful of that. I don't see that happening. So even like just looking at the trailers, it's like a mishmash of different sci-fis. So that's why I'm like, it's not going to have anything consistent. It's going to be, oh, you remember this thing from that sci-fi franchise. Oh, we've got this thing over here from that. So that's kind of what I get. It's just going to be a mishmash of unoriginal ideas with maybe there'll be some originality within it. But I think for the most part, it's just going to be, we've just taken all this stuff from other sci-fi IPs, threw it in the one big bowl and just fucking stirred the pot. That's kind of the impression I get with this film. And that seems to be what some of the critics are saying about it as well. Which again, I'm really not, there's not going to be anything that is consistent. It's just going to be a mishmash of things. I think it's just, the writing's going to be fucking dog shit anyway. I think that's apparent. We'll give it a shot, but I do not have high hopes, because what we'll do is we'll kind of have a look at, what the critics are saying about it. You've already got people going, well, they've always hated Zack Snyder. It's just like, well, he has put out a lot of shite. That's just, that's just the truth of it. So if you look at that at the moment, 23% based on 44 reviews from the old critics, 73% audience score, which, as we went over most of the time, when it comes to Rotten Tomatoes, the idea that, oh, well, the audience loves it, so it must be good. Or, you get that quite a lot now where it's like, well, no, that doesn't happen in most cases where, the critics hate it and the audience loves it. Most of the time, both of them are wrong. Other times, it's just like, yeah, the critics were right on this one. Other times, it's, the audience was right on this one. So it really just depends. But I'm kind of going to go out on a limb and say the critics are probably right on this one. You just look at the track record of Zack Snyder. It's not very good. So that's currently what it's sitting at the moment. And there's been a lot of complaining that the critics have been tearing it the fuck apart. So they've kind of put their thoughts on here. I think we might actually have to zoom in here. Zoom in a little bit. And of course, we can drag it over a bit. So, yeah, you can just go through these. There's really, there's one positive one there, I guess. But other than that, it's like, yeah, it pretty much is just all negative. So we'll kind of have a look at these, maybe figure some things out. But you've got Avi offer from the NYC Movie Guru that says, an exhausting, overproduced and lackluster bore. It's this generation's Battlefield Earth. I assume that's some shit film that come out at some point. I don't think I've heard of Battlefield Earth before. If you have to choose one film where the protagonists visit a cantina full of shady aliens and hire a scoundrel pilot to ferry them across the galaxy in a rickety smuggling vessel, Star Wars handled this material much better more than 45 years ago. So, again, that's really not surprising. It's, he pitched the film as a Star Wars, Star Wars project. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of stuff ripped off from the original trilogy. I mean, again, just look at the trailer. It's just a mishmash of this, that, and the other. There's no, this is what the focus is. It's just like, get these things that are definitely not lightsabers, throw them in there, and that's really all the thought that will go into it. Excuses will be made that it's the first of a two-parter, but you have to, well, yeah, that's always the same. It's like, well, things will be answered in the part two. It's like, most of the times these days, that doesn't happen. From what we've seen with, I suppose with the most recent example is Dead Reckoning, where it's like the part one of that, really with that, it's like, there's not really any answer they could come up with in part two that is going to fix that. But that will definitely be used as an excuse. It'll be, oh, well, it's the first part. That's why all of this doesn't make any fucking sense, because it's the first part. So yeah, that would be one of the excuses. But you have to establish some connection to the story of the people populating it to ensure viewers will want to come back. And unfortunately, Rebel Moon doesn't come close to achieving that. In a galaxy far, far away, a group of peasants seeks the help of a rebel alliance in order to end an oppressive empire. So it really is just a rip-off. Just a rip-off of the OT. That's basically what it is. Which, you know, again, you can take inspiration from it, but I think if it's very close to what that is, you know, it's a bit unoriginal then at that point. You know, what should have been an inspired homage to sci-fi classics comes across as cribbed from Cliff's notes, scribbled down by a sleep-deprived student who only half paid attention in film class. It's a vapid byproduct of outsized ambitions. I mean, that's kind of a word that comes to mind with most of the Zack Snyder stuff. Is it's vapid. That's probably a word I would use. But yeah, again, that's the impression I get is what it is. You know, it's just a mishmash of different sci-fi IPs. You know, there's nothing that distinguishes it from those. Another Zack Snyder movie that deals with the same old issues, quality production values with scatterbrained, incoherent storytelling. That's Zack Snyder down to a T. I feel like a broken record. So we've got one positive one here that says an entertaining filtering of science fiction and general storytelling tropes through the lens of creator-director Zack Snyder. And then we get back to all the negative ones, because, you know, again, we're very limited on positive ones here. But where were we? Let's see where we are. Where the fuck were we? Despite existing in a galaxy with 1,000 star systems and worlds, there is no sunlight in the thing, or charm. It is an unrelentingly bleak cosmos that mistakes a lack of humour for a lack of life. Rebel Moon is... I don't know what that word is. Cacophony of sci-fi tropes. It's undeniably beautiful, expertly designed, and enjoyable enough to watch, you know, I guess if you turn your brain off, but leaves little lasting impressions. Zack Snyder disappoints in a galaxy far, far away as his space opera franchise stumbles with a contrived start. Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, is an uninspired mishmash of, you know, again, you know, the exact word I would use, mishmash, of familiar themes, characters, and settings taken from classic blockbusters. You know, again, I didn't even look through these I did not even look through, like, all these reviews, and I'm just like, yeah, that was, you know, that's the impression I had already. Just from how it was sort of pitched. When it occasionally finds its groove, it's loads of fun. You know, I expect it to just be really depressing. You know, if you know, you just look at all his DC stuff, it's so nihilistic and just, it's fucking boring to watch. You know, especially when you do it with a character like Superman. You have his dad telling Superman, you should have let that school bus of children drown. You know, things like that. It's like, what the fuck is going on? So I find it hard to believe that there's going to be, you know, anything that's sort of, you know, fun about it. You know, I suppose that we've got, you know, Anthony Hopkins is in it, so that might be fun to watch. Other than that, you know, I wouldn't expect anything. Unfortunately, there's far too much dead air and laden meandering with a gaping void where all the heart and humanity should be. A hugely expensive but uninspired Star Wars knockoff with some thrilling action sequences and some truly ugly moments that taint the entire thing. All right, and then we've got a few more positive ones. Rebel Moon is a solid sci-fi fantasy with Zack Snyder's artistic flair. It's familiar with its homages, while fresh in its visual language, While a strong start to this universe, an untethered director's cut might just be the true prize. And that's kind of what I'm pissed off about. It's like, oh, we've also got to just release the fucking director's cut then. I don't see the point in going, no, we've got to have this version first, and then you get an R-rated one. It's like, just make the fucking director's cut. It's on fucking Netflix. I don't really understand that. Maybe it's more of a, it's like, I ain't fucking watching it. I mean, if the version that's going to be out on Netflix on Thursday, if that's absolute garbage, why would I even waste my time with the director's cut? But that's kind of just, I don't really understand that. It's like, you're just on a streaming server, just do the director's cut. It seems like he's trying to make two movies. Like, if one doesn't work out, then, oh, look at this other thing. That's the same thing, but it's just more in it. I'm just, it's just when it comes to this in particular, I'm like, I've got no interest in watching a director's cut. I mean, we had the director's cut that he done for Batman v Superman. That didn't really change anything about the original. The only thing it changed was not every scene was fucking 5 seconds long. That was the only thing that really changed about the film. The pacing was a bit better. Whereas, I remember going to see the Batman v Super, like the theatrical version. I didn't even know what was going on because it was just scene. There was nothing was allowed to just, sit for a while. So it only really changed the pacing. That's maybe what I would expect with the the R-rated version for this. I don't even know. I don't really know why you've got an R-rated version and then more. I guess a PG-13 version. I don't. Why would you not just have the R-rated version? But yeah, I don't, even with a director's cut, I don't imagine much will change about it. It's remarkable what a good job Snyder has done of making something fresh out of dated movie tropes, how cleverly he pulls new rabbits out of old hats. So yeah, I don't really know how that's been being stated as like a good thing. It just sounds like, oh, we're just gonna see stuff that we've seen before. And he still manages to spring surprises that will knock viewers sideways. It doesn't work entirely, but there's a thrill to seeing a movie operating on this scale that hasn't been sanitized within an inch of its life. Rebel Moon often looks more like an animated pitch for a movie than an actual movie with human characters, urgent drama, emotional stakes, and so forth. A Child of Fire shamelessly draws influences from a number of other sources without bothering to come up with a single original idea, because that's kind of the key. It's like, if you look at like Joker, it's like that's clearly inspired by the King, but this is doing something. It's still got its own original idea. What it's trying to do. It's not just directly going right. There's Kings of Comedy. Let's just do that, but with Joker. There's actually original ideas within it. Whereas like what I'm expecting with this, it's just, it's going to be a mishmash of different ideas that are from other things, and there's not going to be anything sort of like original that makes it its own thing. It's just going to come across more like it's just a rip-off. Whereas it's like, yeah, you can take all these inspirations from other things, but you also have to have your own idea, your own thing to say, your own spin on it. I mean, it's very similar to when singers do covers. It's like they're taking someone else's song and then they're trying to put their own spin on it. So that's kind of what needs to be done in that case of just you're influenced by other IPs. So that's really what needs to happen, but yeah, I'm not expecting it at all. While undeniably derivative, more of the Magnificent Seven, Seven Samurai than Star Wars, Rebel Moon is nonetheless, well, of course that, because, Star Wars, that's kind of, influenced by films like The Seven Samurai. The difference is it's got its original ideas. Rebel Moon is nonetheless wildly entertaining and a very solid space opera. Snyder mistakes exposition for world building. It's going to be annoying, that, isn't it? Loads and loads of exposition. They use some words, didn't they? It's like, just use normal words. Lugubriously, I've honestly never heard that before. Delivered reams of backstory, removing the audience from the fantasy rather than immersing them in it. I'd rather have a 3-hour-long complete movie than a 2+ hour long half a movie. Very hard to judge without a conclusion, but I am a sucker for a slow-motion action sequence. Oh, that's like one of the worst things that Zack Snyder does. Is just all the slow motion. It's fucking cringe most of the time. It's all, in Snyder Cut, we're going to have Jason Momoa walking into the ocean, drinking a bottle, there's slow motion, it's fucking cringe, it really is. But I am a sucker for a slow motion action sequence, and there are a lot of them. Plus, Ed Skrein and Sophia Boutella eat up their scenes. All right, let's see what we've got. Grace Randolph, her reviews are always going to be fucking dumb as fuck. More Zack Snyder's Dune than Star Wars. The filmmaker's opus isn't likely to win over new fans, but it's a treat for those who appreciate his work. Boutella, Fisher, and Bay are the real standouts. I do wish the 2-part movie craze would end. I mean, it's the idea not to do more than 2. I don't know. I don't know if Netflix wanted them to do 3. I'm not actually sure. But yeah, I don't see this being the new franchise that a lot of people have hoped for. Again, because I just got done rewatching the extendeds of Lord of the Rings, and it's just like, watching that, it's like, yeah, we're never gonna get anything like this again. It's like I don't have that hope that we're ever gonna see something as good as fucking those films. We still haven't. It's now been 20 years. We've still not seen anything fucking like it. So it's just like, you kind of have, I guess you have Dune. Maybe that could do it. But I don't think Rebel Moon is going to be the one. It's got no chance, really. Rebel Moon is Zack Snyder's fun, loving tribute to the likes of Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Seven Samurai. It looks, sounds, and plays great. And even though it takes some time to take off, we'll definitely have you on board for part 2. A pale imitator that fails to forge its own space in the legacy of big screen sci-fi. It's a film populated by some of the Justice League Snyder Cut filmmakers' worst impulses. I mean, he sort of has that throughout most of his films. Just a consistent, worst idea. A mess of imagery, some of it attempting to shock, congregated largely around the idea of what might look good in a trailer. That's Zack Snyder. A movie that feels like a million isolated storyboards without a single thing welding them together. The film is too invested in table setting to be fully enjoyed on its own, at times feeling more like a studio presentation deck than a piece of organic storytelling. Just seconds into the laden sci-fi saga Rebel Moon, it's clear the director is back to indulging his worst tendency for self-serious bombast. Rebel Moon, while eminently watchable, is a movie built so entirely out of spare parts that it may, in the end, be for Snyder cultists only. You know what you're kind of going to get on that side of things. There's just, if you fucking come across them sometimes, and it's like, fair enough if you like Zack Snyder's films, but some of them do get a bit fucking, take it a bit too far. It's like, yeah, calm down a bit. There always seems to be, especially with the start, there's just a lot of fucking cope. With the Scargiver already reportedly wrapped filming, and Rebel Moon free, it is in fact free. Currently being written by Snyder. Again, it's just like, Snyder, just do the directing. Let someone else do the fucking writing. You're not good at it. I don't get the sort of want for him to write. It's just like he can't do it. It's been proven time and time again. He's not good at writing. Directing, yeah. I'm fine with his directing. For the most part, aside from the cringe slow motion. But it's just like, why are you writing it? I don't know. I don't understand it at all. It's like, I really don't know why he didn't just come in and go, right, I'm going to lay out some type of idea. I'm going to get, whoever I work with to do the writing. I'm just going to hand them that idea, and we'll try and work together to, that would be the better way to go for when it comes to Snyder. But it's just like, no, I got to do it all, even though I can't fucking do the writing side of things. We'll just have to hope that the disappointing first part is groundwork for bigger and better films in the franchise. I don't see it being a long-lasting franchise. You're going to have, a trilogy of films. I don't see it going farther than that. It's not going to, it's not going to have any impact. Like a Lord of the Rings would, or like a Star Wars would. It's just, it's not going to be that. Rebel Moon is not a complete disaster, and Snyder diehards will no doubt forgive its glaring issues. But those who tend to dismiss his work as style over substance are going to feel validated after watching this pretty mess of a movie. But yeah, so you kind of get the idea of where the critics are. I mean, already, 23%. I don't really see it getting higher than that. The audience at the moment, 73. My guess is the audience score that will probably come down, I would imagine. But yeah, so it's not, just based on those reviews, it's not very good. But even before that, I wasn't convinced it was gonna have anything like special about it. As I said before we went into this. It just comes across like it's just going to be all these ideas, all these, ripping off other things, just thrown into a blender. And that's going to be the end result. So I thought this film was 3 hours, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to do a stream on this. I don't want to spend 3 hours getting fucking notes for it. But yeah, I was glad to find out it's only 2 hours and 15 minutes. Because I'm like, yeah, it's not going to take us fucking long now. But yeah, I'm fucking glad with that. But yeah, I'll be doing a stream on it either Saturday or Sunday. I'm not too sure. But I'm glad it's out on Thursday, because that gives me more time to sort of work my way through it. Just a bit more time to do that. But yeah, I'm not expecting. I just imagine it's going to be filled to the eyeballs, with issues. Just loads, either that or it's just going to have nothing to say. Nothing of substance worth talking about. If it's not just filled with, issues after issues after issues. But I guess we will, get a good look at it on Thursday. But yeah, not expecting anything at all. But that gets us out of the Rebel Moon side of things. We kind of work. I'm surprised we went that long on it. But yeah, that's not looking like it's gonna turn out very well. But yeah, I think we've got a bit of Marvel to talk about. Whenever we do these streams, there's always something going on at Marvel. Although, because I've spent so much time with the Marvels, I'm fucking sick to death of Marvel. But this was something that came out. This actually got a while ago now. I believe this came out. What was it? December 1st. So last week sometime. Because this was one. I was going to do a stream like last week, but it was only really. This was like the only story that was fucking going on. But yeah, the recent thing with we talk about fucking Marvel every time on one of these. But we got Deadpool 3 coming out. I don't have high expectations, but that's gonna get more interest than anything else. And then I think Captain America: Brave New World, that comes out after that. That comes out. It's only Deadpool 3 that's coming out next year. And then 2025, we're going to have 4 Marvel movies. Can't wait. And one of them, of course, is being Captain America Brave New World, which is going to be, the next film after Deadpool 3. And this is having a lot of problems. This film was already done. Then we heard about it's getting 6 months worth of reshoots. And now we find out they're getting a new writer when the film's already fucking done. They're now getting a new writer, Matthew Orton, who has worked on other Marvel stuff. So, he's going to change fuck all then. An additional shooting planned for mid-2024. So it's like, again, you're this far into production. You're like, right, we need a new writer to write new scenes because this film is shit. It's just like, I don't know what, just release all of it. Just release all of it. You are never going to course correct if you keep doing this. If you keep going, no, we've got to do this because that's fucking shit. But we don't actually know what shit. So whenever we say, change this, that's still, the end result is still, that's shit. So they've got no idea. How's it going, Biffa? They've got no idea what they're doing. It's just release it all. It's like none of it's going to make money. So it's just like, I don't understand we've got to spend more money on it. It's like, well, that's just going to make, your losses even higher. Because it's like Captain America 4 is not going to make money. Because it's like it doesn't have a proper Captain America in it. It has some guy that flies and he's got a shield. I don't really know how any of this is cohesive. Just like the idea of Falcon being Captain America, it makes the least amount of sense. It's just like none of it mechanically works. Why did you not just give it to Bucky? I don't know why they didn't do that, in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's probably what they should have done. Maybe Sam realised, actually, I'm my own superhero. I don't need that. I'm going to hand it to Bucky because Bucky was great friends with Steve. Bucky needs his redemption. So that would be, well, not only compelling, but it would fucking make more sense than, we're going to give it to this person who's also Falcon, so he flies and he's got a shield. Honestly, I would give up being a superhero if that's the kind of thing I had to do. Where it's like, fuck, my shield. My wings. It seems like everything's just getting in your way all the time. It's like, silly. Really just stupid. So these are the sort of what's going on with this film now. As I say, this film was already done. It was finished. Then they went to, we need loads and loads of reshoots, and now, they had to hire another writer. So, they just fucked with this one. Merry Christmas, Biffa. We haven't got long to go on that front, have we? I've got no fucking money left. That's kind of what it's been like this year. But let's see what they have to say about this anyway. With plenty of time until its February 14th, 2025 theatrical release, Marvel Studios' Captain America Brave New World has hired Matthew Orton to pen additional scenes and material. Orton will work on material that will be shot in additional photography, which will take place in spring-summer of 2024. Orton previously worked as a consultant producer for Moon Knight, which, that was the only series that was somewhat promising at the start. And then it just devolved into the, generic Marvel sludge. Captain America Brave New World follows Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson, picking up Captain America's shield post Chris Evans, Steve Rogers. Julius Onah directs off of early drafts by Dalen Mousson and Malcolm Spellman. Liv Tyler, Harrison Ford, Shira Haas, Tim Blake Nelson, Rosa Salazar, Danny Ramirez, and Carl Lumbly star. So they go on to say reshoots are a part of every Marvel movie. And I don't like, especially the way Deadline talk about it like it's normal. It's not normal that every film you do, you have to reshoot the majority of it. There's nothing normal about that. Reshoots are a part of every Marvel movie and are always planned as part of the studio's quality control. I mean, again, it's like we've seen this with the Marvels. That had loads of reshoots. Nothing in that screamed quality control. There was nothing quality control about it. It's just they do all these reshoots and it literally changes. Like, it's still shit. So it's like, I don't know how that's not even an attempt at quality control. It's like the attempt at quality control would be, we are not shooting this film until the script is done, until the script is good. You know, that's where quality control should lie. Not, oh, it's already been made, so now let's worry about quality control. It's like you should worry about that from day one. Reshoot days can vary from as little as 3 days, but to more than 2 weeks, although most Marvel stuff now is months. The Captain America franchise fired off in 2011 and continued with Winter Soldier and Civil War. You know, again, it's like Captain America 4, you know, this Captain America film coming after Civil War, that's going to be a big drop. Civil War is still, you know, to me, the best, you know, the best Marvel film. Well, you know, in terms of the actual MCU, it's definitely top tier. So it's just like the idea that this is what comes after it. It's like that is going to be a big drop in terms of its quality. Those 3 movies have amassed more than 2.2 billion. At the global box office. Mackie Sam Wilson was introduced in Winter Soldier and went on to star in Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, as well as Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was nominated for 5 Primetime Emmys. I still haven't watched that show yet. I don't want to. I know everything that happens in it. You know, I'm aware of all its problems. But yeah, I was, you know, that was kind of at the start of the TV shows where I watched WandaVision, I watched 1 episode of Loki, and I never bothered to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Post-actor strike, Marvel Studios' Deadpool 3 recently returned to production. You know, so on and so forth. 33 titles. So that's where we're at now. Is that honest? 33 films. It's fucking insane. So, yeah, a lot of problems with this film. But again, it's just a lot of problems for Marvel in general. There's never any good news when it comes to Marvel. It's just always just, oh, look at them fuck this up. You know, almost is. It has become where it's more interesting watching the downfall than it is the actual films. Yeah, that's the only thing that kind of keeps me watching it. Because I'm just like, what are they going to do next? You know, what is the next stupidest thing they have to do? Or you know, that they do. Because that's every release now. It's just like they're competing with each other who can do the stupidest things. Because it's you know, it's kind of a point that I do make in the, you know, the video that I'm doing on the Marvels at the moment. Where it's like, you know, we went from Iron Man, you know, a man, you know, he finds out his company's corrupted and he goes on a redemption arc. It's like we went from that and we're now at this fucking woman sucks the air through a wormhole. You're just like, what the fuck is going on? You know, again, a lot of it is, you know, I even do make the point to say that it's like, you know, you can do all this shit like, oh, she sucks the atmosphere away. The difference is, within these films, they never have a reason for it. It's just like, oh, this person could just do this. And that's the thing where it's just like, none of it's believable. It's like, it's kind of hard to suspend, you know, your disbelief when there's just there's no attempt at reasoning or explaining. It's just like, look at this stupid stuff. We used to just do very straightforward stuff. But yeah, there's just an absolute disaster with Marvel. I just, you know, again, it's like nothing over there is going to change when these these are still the things they're doing. It's just like these films are not going to make money, so the idea to even bother reshooting it rather than just chucking it out and getting it over with, that would be that's honestly or just scrap it all. You'd save a lot more money. But they just seem to think, nah, we just spend more money, that'll fix it, won't it? It's like, no. But yeah, that's Marvel to a T at the moment. Just making the wrong choices all the time. But I think that kind of does us with Marvel. I'll maybe have a look to see if anything else has happened. Because the only other thing I was going to talk about was just it was just something I seen on Twitter the other day. I don't know if you've seen it, but I've got to zoom in a bit here. But yeah, so you seem to be getting a lot of, well, this is Joe Russo. There's been other, critics and stuff like that saying, "Oh, how dare you do the worst movies of 2023?" And I really don't understand what the issue is. There's been a lot of these tweets about this trend, and it's like, well, that's something that people, whether it's outlets or channels, whatever, it's like generally they do a list of the worst movies of 2023, the best movies of 2023. It's like that's a normal thing to do, to have a roundup, just round up at the end of the year, what good have we gotten, what bad have we gotten. But for some reason it's being treated as like, no, this is terrible, because as Joe Russo says, making movies is hard, so you can't do a roundup of here's some of the worst films of 2023, because apparently making movies is hard. So this kind of comes across more like, don't criticize our films, guys. Don't criticize them. It's hard, because that's only people in Hollywood have that excuse of making movies is hard. You don't see a plumber do that. You don't see a plumber come in and plumb your house, fucking breaks a load of pipes, water everywhere, and he turns around and goes, "Plumbing is hard." So it's really it's just fucking insane to me that is. I mean, I've seen this excuse so many times that, oh, making movies is hard. That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse for making shit films. It's like, it doesn't matter how hard the work, how much hard work you put into it, or little. It's like that doesn't matter to the end result. Work as hard as you want. That doesn't change the quality of something. So that's kind of what it comes across with, as it doesn't seem like they're really pointing out what the problem with making these lists are. They just say, "Oh, stop doing these lists." I think the only other thing he says, and for the record, I'm not saying not to criticize movies, but that comes across like what you are saying, because you're talking about an article that's criticizing movies. So it sounds like you're a bit annoyed that people are making fun of these terrible films. And why shouldn't anyone talk about the bad films? Point them out, then people can either avoid them, or go, maybe I'll check that out, see if it is as bad as they say. But these films were already reviewed, so basically, once a film comes out and you've reviewed it, you can never talk about it again. It's like, oh no, we've done that. Got to move. We can't ever re-review it. We can't do that. There's no reason to take another swipe. It's not really a swipe, is it? It's just a fun little article. That's all it is. What else? Because I think this must be a new add-on tweet that you put here. I can't believe how butthurt some of you are over this. Glad I muted this thread an hour after I tweeted it. Of course you did. Make all the worst of lists you want. Most of you will never make a movie as good as any of the films Variety listed. I'm pretty sure I can make a better movie than The Flash. You know, that's always a funny thing to me. Why don't you make movies then? Because I don't want to. That's. I always find that excuse just funny. That it's like, oh no, you'll never understand unless you make. Well, no, I can obviously look at a film and go, ah, yeah, that don't work. This don't work. You know, that's very, very straightforward to do. There's nothing that says you can't do that. But that's really embarrassing from Joe Russo. You know, oh, you're so butthurt. Well, no, we're making fun of you for being such a fucking wimp. Because that's more of how it comes across, just wimpy. It's like no other profession ever says, oh, well, this particular job is hard. Because people will go, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, I've got water all over my fucking floor. You know, it doesn't matter that it's hard. You have fucking flooded my kitchen. You know, that's just what it is. But yeah, you never make a movie as good. Like, none of these films, the Flash isn't good. So I could do that in 5 minutes, make a better film than The Flash. I mean, even watching The Flash, it's like you can see how to make a good film out of it. You know, you can go, oh, well, they've got this going on, so, you know, I could put this here, and that there, and that, you know, that would break, you know, there's ways to do that. But that just seems to be something new that just, they just got really upset about the worst movies of 2023. I mean, because that's another stream that I'm planning to do round about New Year's Eve. I'm gonna do, like, you know, the best and worst of 2023. You know, how bad of me, how terrible is it that I'm going to talk about movies that I've already reviewed? But yeah, you had like this guy from Collider, as most people in the comments have pointed out, like they like Collider have so many articles about, oh, the worst films of this year, like article after article every year, and then this guy from Collider's like, oh, you should never do that. It's like your employers do that. But you know, this is the guy that likes every fucking film. A terrible critic, absolutely terrible critic. I think his name fucking says it all. Stephen Weintraub. You know, yeah, it sounds like he just fucking whines a lot. Please stop writing the worst movies of the year list. No one sets out to make a bad movie, right? Again, I'm just like, they're not very specific on what the problem is by making a worst of. They're not really specific on what the point is that they're trying to make. It's just, you shouldn't do it because they didn't do it on purpose. That doesn't matter though. So many people work their asses off to try and do the best job they can. Those are people that probably shouldn't be in the profession that they are. You know, that's a sign that maybe you should be fired, or maybe you should do something else. You know, maybe you should learn to code. You know, I don't know. Maybe just do something like that. So let's not celebrate when something doesn't work. Again, I'm just failing to realize how this image, how is that a celebration? It's like, that's just an article that a couple of people wrote saying, oh yeah, there was this film that came out, this was bad because of this, this, and this, and then there was this film also that was pretty bad. I don't quite understand how that's celebrating. You know, that's not really a celebration, is it? It's just talking about it. But yeah, that was just a sort of funny little side thing that I thought was worth bringing up, because I don't really understand it. You know, what the actual problem is. It just, you know, again, it's like only sort of in the industry of Hollywood would you go, oh, doing this is hard. It's like, yeah, everything's hard. Most people don't make excuses like, oh, it's hard. But yeah, that'll be the. So yeah, we've got Rebel Moon. I'm gonna do that, a breakdown of that this weekend. Then the following weekend, I'm gonna do like the best and worst of 2023. So that'll probably do like a 2-hour stream for that. Just sort of briefly go over all the things that have come out. But yeah, your top films: Killers of the Flower Moon, Godzilla -1, Blackberry. Killers of the Flower Moon, that's out on digital now, so I've still got that to watch. I haven't had the time yet. Godzilla -1, I haven't seen that yet. I do really want to see that. You know, especially with what I've heard about it. You know, it sounds like something right up my alley. And then Blackberry, I still haven't seen Blackberry yet. Because I wanted to watch that because after I seen the Tetris film, you know, after I seen that, I was like, oh, that's could be quite interesting to, you know, the Blackberry as well. You know, it gives you a bit of insight in how things came to be. Because I remember the Blackberries when they first came out. I think I must have been like 13, 14. Yeah, probably around 14 when they first came out. Everyone was on them, and then yeah, that craze just died very quickly. No, I haven't seen Beau is Afraid. I didn't hear good things about Beau is Afraid. I know one of my friends said it was really fucking weird, and then just sort of everyone I've heard talk about it online just hasn't been good things. So that's why I never bother checking that out. But there's still a lot of films that I want to see this year. You've got the recent one with Nick Cage, Dream Scenario. I want to see that Poor Things. I want to see that the one with what's her name again now? I don't know why I'm forgetting her name. She played Gwen Stacy. So that's another yeah. So Pretty Things. Yeah, I want to see that. That sounds quite interesting. So, no, I haven't seen Sound of Freedom. I don't know because I don't think that came out, or did it? I don't know if it came out in the UK. The main thing that put me off watching Sound of Freedom anyway was sort of the discourse around it. That kind of put me off a bit. But yeah, maybe I'll probably watch it at some point. But yeah, I haven't gotten around. There's still a lot I haven't seen yet. But yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon. That's the main one that I need to. I'm gonna watch that before. There's a lot of films I'm just gonna go through and watch that have come out this year, just so. So when we're sort of going over them, I can mention them. Because what's the other one? There's another film that I'm gonna watch as well. The Holdovers. I've heard that's pretty good, so I'm gonna give that a watch as well. So there'll be plenty to go over. What is it? Recommendations, as in, you know, sort of reviewing them or breaking them down. It'd probably depend on the film. It'd probably depend if I was like, yeah, you know, I could watch that. I suppose that's kind of more of what I would do. Just if it is something where, yeah, I'm going to watch it anyway, so yeah, I probably would. But yeah, there's still plenty of films this year that I haven't seen yet. This year I've probably watched the most movies I've ever watched this year. Because I've been going back watching so many films that I haven't seen yet. That's kind of been my goal most of the years. I need to see more fucking films. I've already seen so many films, so like now I'm at the point where it's like I'm pretty sure I've seen more films than the average person. I mean, even this year, I've got to have at least watched what, maybe. I couldn't even begin to guess how many films I've watched this year. It's got to be in the. I don't know actually, because I think 50. That's probably not. I've probably not seen 50. It's probably got to be round about 30 films. But it could be more. But yeah, it'll be interesting to go over all the sort of stuff that's been released. You know, get a lot of the films that I have watched this year that have been good. They're just, you know, it's just sort of big IPs, big studios. That's kind of where the shite has been coming from. Whereas there's been a lot of films that are just, you know, maybe lower budgets. Generally, they've been pretty good. In fact, that's another one I still need to see is Air. The one to do with the, you know, the Nike Air Maxes. I've heard that's quite good as well. Letterboxd. Yeah, I wouldn't actually mind doing it, because I would like to find out how many films I've fucking seen. Yeah, because sometimes you do lose track of, you know, what you've watched. Generally, the ones I keep track of are ones where I'm like, fuck me, I'd watch that again. Those are generally like the films I make sure I remember. Because there was I know it's not 2023, but there was a film that came out last year. You can find it on Amazon. I watched that the other day. That was really good. What's it called? Living, with Bill Nye, not Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye. He was in Shaun of the Dead. Remember, he played Shaun's stepdad. So it's that actor. But that's something that's I would definitely recommend. It's like an hour and 40 minute. You know, it's very, very simple in what it's sort of trying to do. I thought it was fucking like really good. So I would recommend that one. I think I've heard of Dumb Money, but I don't think I've ever sort of had interest. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, I'd probably have to look into it. Yeah, I heard that as well, that the one with Bill Nye is like a remake of a Japanese film. But yeah, that was really fucking good. I was quite happy with it. That's kind of, it's kind of one of those films where you are kind of left like thinking about it after it. But yeah, it's very, very, you know, it's just yeah. So that's kind of mainly where I've been watching good shit. It's always been these sort of, you know, lower budget films. There's just been nothing that has, you know, no major films that, you know, at least you had Oppenheimer, you know, from what I understand, Killers of the Flower Moon. You know, you kind of have those types of ones, but, you know, anything outside of that, it's generally piss poor. You're really just looking at lower budget stuff. But yeah, we're kind of reaching the end, the sort of end there. But yeah, like the reason why I haven't, you know, I haven't done any streams the past 2 weeks, mainly just because I've been working on this Marvels video. Because I've been editing the visuals for like a week now, so I'm almost done with the visual side of things, and then I can finally fucking release it this week, and then that's fucking that out of the way. I'm hoping to have that out on Thursday. At the latest. I've got, what have I got left to do? I think I've got another 24 minutes left to edit. It just takes so fucking long. So that's kind of what stage I'm at. So I reckon in the next couple of days, be done with that, and then I can finally get my first video out and on that the new channel. And I'm really hoping that it pays off somewhat, because I've spent so many hours on it. You know, whether if it's scripting or recording. I think I recorded it in like 3 days, 3 or 4 days. But it's just the editing takes so fucking long. I will in the future, I'll definitely consider hiring someone to fucking do it. Because it you know, especially for me, because I'm quite new. I'm quite new to the, you know, this kind of editing. So that's kind of why it takes me fucking a lot longer. But yeah, the Marvels video is like, it's an hour long, pretty much. Like it's dead on like an hour long. It's like an hour and 35 seconds. I tell you what, I won't be in a rush to do another hour video. You know, I may end up doing a video for Rebel Moon, but that kind of depends. You know, depends how fucking bad it is. But I guess we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of all I've got coming at the moment, is that video. We're gonna do a breakdown of Rebel Moon next weekend. The weekend after that, we'll do the best and worst of 2023. And then after that, there's not really anything. And I'd hope, I'd like to think that I'll be back to doing videos on this channel. It's just, again, it's just one of those things. It depends what's going on. It depends how much interest that I have in sort of, you know, doing a video. It just like the past few weeks, I've just preferred. I prefer this format, just, you know, just talking away, than sort of sitting down trying to record a video without making mistakes. So I don't have to go back to the fucking start and redo it. But so that's kind of what I got on the way, is just, yeah, Marvel's video and then a couple of streams. We'll probably do one of these, you know, every week. And then I was gonna do some game streams as well, although I've ran out of money this week until the start of January. So I'm gonna have to play something that I already own on Steam. That was really annoying, because we got on Steam, there's a sale coming up. I was like, good. You know, the last sale I missed because I didn't have any fucking money. So I'm hoping I've got money for this sale, and now the sale's coming up, I ain't got any money. Because I was going to get, like, BioShock. That was one of the games I was considering getting. I want to play BioShock, Sifu, or Sifu, whatever it's called. And what was it? I was considering playing Dark Souls 3, but I still haven't finished the first one. So it kind of be stupid done the first one. So I might end up just streaming Dark Souls 1 and trying to actually complete it. We will have to see, but that's kind of what I got on the way. That kind of gives you a good ideas, but it's mostly just streams. You know, aside from the Marvels video. But I'll probably put out a post, you know, saying what's going on, just so people know. Although at this point, I'm pretty sure most people think I'm dead, because how long it's been since I've done a video. But yeah, I hope to get back. I might just get back to it in a sense of doing like one video a week, you know, more of just something like that. But we will have to see. But I'll finish off here anyway, because I've got to get back to editing this video. If I want to get it fucking done, I just got to keep doing that. That's what I was doing before I started this stream. Yeah, that's no problem, Biffer. It's been good talking to you. But yeah, so I'll have to look into that Letterboxd, because that would be quite good to keep track of, you know, what films I've seen and what films I haven't. But yeah, Killers of the Flower Moon I'm going to watch. Godzilla -1. I'm honestly not going to see that till it comes out on streaming, so I hope that's soon, because I do want to watch it. But yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, that's a good time to finish there. So I guess I will just say I will see you on the next one, which will be Saturday or Sunday, breaking down Rebel Moon. So I guess I will see you over on that.